I'm not even gonna lie, part of why it took so long to start this video today is because I was going back and forth in my head, like, is it Takesha, Takesha? And the person I live with was like, just call me Keisha. So I'm like, I'm just gonna include all the info in here, and I am going to just call you Keisha because I don't want to mess it up the whole video. One thing I can't mess up is Keisha, but I saw the rest of your name, and just know in my head telepathically, I will be saying your actual name, but in telepathic. So it'll just be like the word going across. So I'm tapping into the right file because this is your Akashic Records reading. So I'm going to start with this deck. I noticed that the readings go better when there is a understanding of how this whole process works, right? So the Akashic Records are a energetic library that exists in another realm, like it's invisible to us, center of the galaxy business. But in a way, it is like the router. It's where all the information is coming from, and we all stream different things from the main hub. It's like our celestial internet, if you will, galactic internet. But just the same way that a baby has a crown right here on the top of their head, we still have our crown, but spiritually or psychically speaking, it acts as the area where we receive information like a download. Like this is the individual piece. I don't know. Modem. That's what I just heard. This is the modem, right? So I'm using my modem, my IP, and all this to download information from that database about your life. So it'll be this life, other lives connected to this one and what you're trying to achieve. And these other lives can be things like star seed stuff, which is in other galaxies, but it can even be things that are sort of beyond that, in my opinion. Beyond aliens is the idea of angels and demons and stuff like that. But we all come from a different storyline way before this one. I do touch on the future, but when I mention the future, it's going to be path A or path B because free will is still very much in play. You still have lots of decisions to make on this journey. So let's get started with the theme. I'm going to use these cards sort of like a conduit during streaming. So I'll get a story off of them. And most of the time, what I'm thinking or what I'm saying ends up on the card in some way. So we get to go over that, and it's pretty cool. So, what does Keisha need to know from her Akashic record at this time? You are going through a rapid healing phase. So, like something is going to require some rapid healing work, something that you need to work on over time, so that you get more into this queen of your household feeling. So, Queen of Keys is like that's the energy I feel, just like a deep breath. You know, when you walk in your house, everything is clean like you like it. Bills are paid. Like there is a structure. You are very much in your throne seat in the house. And what you say goes and things are going your way because that's that top-notch locked in sort of energy. Like the feeling you get after the work is done and you look at what you've accomplished, right? That is the end of the rainbow that I am being instructed to tell you. And this is sort of the rainbow, right? It's called the Akashic field. So the Akashic field is like, you know how when you like look at your hand or something and make this focus, or even like up here on my screen, you see how they're little statics, right? From the God field, from the source field, our static, our light gets reflected down here in different ways, and we can perceive each other as humans, right? The Akashic field would be the force that holds all that different static to create different things. So what that means in a reading is you are going to be able to pull things into creation after you get out of this healing phase. And I'm getting directed to talk more to you about what this healing is, what's going on, because there could be a health scare that comes up or something that catches you out of nowhere that starts this progress for you to decide enough is enough. I need to focus on making sure I'm good so that I can make sure everything else around me is good, is what I'm feeling here. So where do we want to go with this? Let's see with the base. I'm going to use the dark mirror. So this is like the only, trying to avoid saying the word negative. It's the only negative oracle cards there are. All the other ones are very light and airy. Like, you are a plant, strong. These ones are like, you are slowly dying inside every day type energy. So what should we focus on healing? Focus or forced? That's the way it got revised in my head. Let me tell you how many times a week I have to say inner child healing. It's like the people I draw to me. We all just got like our inner child's bullied by Freddie while we were younger. And now we have to go back to the core of this part of ourselves in order for us to start going forward correctly. It's like you've been on the path the whole time, but you've been walking in barefoot over gravel when you could have learned during childhood how to make your own shoes or something. Like, you know what I mean? There are things that you were supposed to be taught, ways that you were supposed to be treated to set the standard for how you set your boundaries and carried yourself going forward. When you did not get those things to properly grow as like a little plant person, your plant struggles. And that's what it seems like here. Like there was not necessarily anybody around to help you build your self-esteem. Because even this, the card was downcast pride, right? But then look at the leaves and the roots here. That goes back to what I was focusing on here, which was the plant. So this being the end of the rainbow was important because it's like you are going back to the foundation of who you are so that you can blossom into this. So I was about to say, who have you been thus far, right? And my gut said, look at the bottom card on the deck. It says calling the storm. I call it chaos, but look, there are no leaves here. This is all like barren stuff, like she's tearing things up around her. Hold on, no, those are leaves, but those leaves are getting tossed. She becomes the tornado. All that chaos, all that sadness, all that pain from growing in the wrong direction and not blossoming enough or not being fed enough, but still just enough to survive every day. Like, you know what I mean? That's what this is looking like. There were a lot of feelings that you've dealt with in this life that you did not understand that may have given you a roller coaster effect internally, but also having relationships with people that are very ambivalent. I'm feeling like you love them and you know you love them because they're family, but at the same time, there is a toxicity to the relationship. All this feels like that toxicity got into you at one point, whether that means that you were very protective of yourself or had a hard time letting people in, sort of kind of what I'm feeling here. But the other way would be somebody who like took a lot of other people's weight and pressure on them and like regretted the times that you did not stand up for yourself. But in the world of duality, you could have had both reactions based upon different people. Like one person would have made you feel very guarded, or you would have been very on attack, whereas another person, you didn't know how to assert yourself. And that person likely would have reminded you of somebody who was parental, somebody who made you feel that you had to give away your power when you were younger. So let's get into how this is affecting you, like health-wise. And I'm feeling now, and I did feel like in the beginning, but I didn't want to say that just to wait to see if it came up, but it might be like a mental health thing. There might be a moment, and maybe I'm popping up with this right at the time that it needs to be here, when things start to go dark mirror for you. In a real world, I'd call that you wouldn't see things in the right way. With a dark mirror, you would see everything inverted. That means you don't have hope anymore. Everything is like if somebody came to you with a good idea, you would think of all the reasons why that wouldn't work out, as opposed to, ooh, getting inspired and thinking like, ooh, well, we could do this and we could do this. That's the opposite. That's a dark mirror. So let's see what is being healed here, or what you will be working on healing. And I'm going to pull from 2 decks for this. I'm going to use the repair just in case you're in the deck, so you get drawn to one. Focus. Uh, repair, evolution, and growth, because this pretty much just tells you all about like the healing stuff. Like it's the best one I'd say for when you want to do like surgery, like readings, like I call them, to find out what's wrong with your soul or what's making it act off course. When I see a client or when I step into this session, I always think of them like, where's the thorn in your side? Where's the thorn in your paw? Like y'all are like little teddy bears, little care bears. Where's the thing that's throwing you off so you can get back on your path? That's what I am here for. So, what does she need to do for healing? What does she need to do for healing? I'll show you something else that I think is no coincidence, because there are no coincidences when you're doing these readings. This whole session, whatever I was rambling on about, has something to do with a like bad signal or something that I was sending to you. Like it might not have meant anything to me, but it might be something that is significant to you or stands out. Like one day I had earrings on, and that's why I got two non-matching ones right now, because I can never find the back post to my earrings. And I was like, oh my goodness, my earring dropped during the video. And I was like, every time I try to put a post on these earrings, it just doesn't work. When she got the video and she responded back to me, she was like, I have been missing earring backs for months. So it's just supposed to be little Easter eggs in here that just help you say, all right, something is available out there in the world. Something is going on, because this woman has no business knowing any of my tea. So this is not a card I just pulled for you, but this was at the bottom of the deck that I'm about to shuffle. And it made me think about the dark mirror stuff that I just showed you. Like nobody ever reflected your own beauty back to you. And for that, I would say, because we are always drawn to or repulsed by the people who remind us of us, just depending on where we are in our relationship with self. So think about the people that you looked up to outside of societal norms, the ones that remind you of yourself. How many of your heroes reflect pieces of you? And then think about the people that you hate. How many of those people reflect back the parts of you that you disconnect from, that you disassociate from? Just developing a firmer idea of self, both positive and negative. Because if you've been through a hard time and you struggle with self-esteem, you're not going to be able to just take all that good stuff off top, but you can take a little good with the bad. Like, all right, I can see that. So you can get a clear vision of you and feel confident, as opposed to an inflated fake version that you'll never feel like you can fit into. You know what I mean? Just trying to keep a mask of confidence and all that. Like, nah, just rock with it. Like, all right, my feet are big, but it's cool because that means fewer people are coming for my shoes. I can have some really exclusive stuff. Like, just find a way to spin what you got going on in your favor. So, what does Kesha need to know for her healing? Let's get I love when this comes together. So, distorted view, false narrative. This is going to be probably one of the weirdest references that I have mentioned up to date, but it will not be the strangest reference that I ever use in my career. It'll probably get worse as I go on. But I realize the more honest I am, the more people connect. We hear this is like a girlfriend session. We're having a chat. It's just one sided. It's like I'm your homegirl left you a really long video just to update you on your life, in my opinion, right? So, pretty much. You know how you go into a funhouse mirror and you don't see any solid version of yourself? And the movie that popped in my head was Jordan Peele Us. Like there's a version of you that is closeted, like a tethered version of self. And that one is the culmination of all the stuff that you had to fight as a child. Like that one is on your forefront, but inside, it's like you protected this other version of yourself. But that version has now become resentful of the fact that it didn't get to shine. And in this case, the resolution for that is better boundaries. It's like there are people who think they know you based upon who you were, not who you are. Like, you know, when you grow up around your aunties, your cousin, and all that, they think they know you, ha ha, he he. But there comes a time when you have to say, like, hey, I don't play like that. That's what I'm feeling there. There is a inversion of the way that you see yourself. It's kind of like if you went through life and you were only bullied, but nobody gave you a positive perception of you. I'm really just feeling like in my deepest of like chicken head energy, like a lot of people need to hear like, I don't play like that from you. So what does this say over here? Letting go and then inner child. Can't make this up. So you are letting go of people who remind you of that old stuff. Any connection to this? Boogers. And I've never used that term for it, but I feel like that's the term for people just sticking around. They ain't got no business there. They are boogers. You have to let go of the boogers. The people who are still just around you because they know you and like they feel like because they are family or they've been around a long time that they have right to access your energy. That's what that feels like because you're going to take all your energy back from that for this, for your glow up here. It's like you're taking on too much of other people's energy. And this is going to take some time, but it's going to be a make or break point that hits you like something's got to change. And then you're going to start, it's that sense of time on this one. You're going to start making the choices or the changes necessary for your mental health. And this is like just a little bit better every day. I'm feeling baby steps, just little things. Like you don't want to jar yourself. You don't want to give yourself a climb that seems too far that you quit ahead of time and just fall back into old stuff. Like, no, this is the time where you're able to say, okay, something needs to be done. And then I say it felt like it could be a depression leaking in. It's just one day of you saying, like, I can't feel like this anymore. And I'm very happy to be here to tell you what's making you feel like that. It's like you have a lot of energetic cords coming from you. I don't know if you are the one that people call when they have an issue. Do you do a job where a lot of people pull on your energy? Because that could very well be the case also. But that's not happening. That's not helping with the boundaries. You have a lot of this. Like you have a lot of static energy, and other people can sense that your cup is brimming with amazing energy, right? But now I'm getting the message. This was at the bottom. This energy going forward after you cut off or let go of the blocks, like the blocks and the people who were fighting against you developing good self-esteem and a new sense of self, and any parts of yourself that were still holding on to old lies about you, how you look, what is possible for you, your intelligence, the way that you carry yourself, all that sort of stuff I'm sensing. It's just your whole idea of you needs to be reassessed because technically there is a whole life opportunity for you to step into your own. It's like somebody else put their small narrow-mindedness on you and caged your mind. But if you were to break out, and you may have already, because like you were just in a phase of needing to decide, like, am I doing this or am I doing this? And this reading is supposed to be that, no, girl, jump, do the thing that scares you, do the thing that makes everybody else scared. But I'm gonna say, don't let nobody know nothing at this point. This feels like a you versus you kind of, because you have an inner saboteur blocking you. And that inner saboteur that I was mentioning, like the Us movie, is all the residual energy that wants to be hugged. It's a part of your inner child too. It's just your tethered inner child that wants to feel hugged. Do you hug yourself? Is that ever anything that you do? Do you color? I was just saying the other day. Like I know mentally I am vexed. I am too far gone. I am upset. When I just need to tap out, just color. Baby girl, don't think. Just draw, make sure it got a nice outline and you go in with another color so it got different textures to it. It's just something about color that really resets you back to when you can barely talk, when you can barely do anything, but you can shut up. that sort of stuff. Take yourself to a playground. Who does not love to swing? But there are parts of you that need to be triggered back into those childhood experiences, even like watching your old cartoons. If you can drive past your old elementary school, you listen to songs that you listened to when you were younger, and I call this nostalgia therapy. Just going back to another time, even if it brings up a darker memory, you're processing that something that did not get processed until you are able to sort through the stuff. It keeps going around cyclically. Like every Cancer moon, you're going to think about your mom's family, your feelings, how your feelings were treated when you were a child. So if you still have feelings from you when you were like 10, 12, and you are now 40, 50, right? That means it has been recycling for decades, this energy. And so that's why the letting go comes up. When the feeling comes up, you need to sit with it. Think about it. If you need to cry at that moment, cry. And crying is not being strong or anything. It's about releasing the emotion so that it's not backed up into your body. If you feel like you need to cuss at that moment, if you need to do anything to release what is building up upon you, please do that, because it seems like you have just taken on so much. And in this moment, I was like, hold on, pressure makes diamonds. But that's what is supposed to be happening for you next. I put the card back, but that alchemy card, didn't it have a lady holding a diamond in her hand? You're on your way to what you want for yourself, and it's possible that this is something that you didn't even know you wanted for yourself like a year or two ago. So what closing message of empowerment do I need to give to Kesha at this time? Grow good relationships, change. And I'm gonna read the change one because it's a butterfly, like coming out the cocoon. Change and flow and transformation. Life is moving in an ebb and flow of change. Accepting change makes it much easier to navigate. Embracing change is the key to thriving in life. And then on the end, creativity. But look who's creating. Kids. Girl, if you don't go color, it says enjoy some fun projects. Make time to play, explore, and creatively express yourself. Creativity is an essential ingredient for physical and emotional balance in life. I don't think there's anything left for me to say. I hope you enjoyed your Akashic.